Yeah, we're trying this again. I figure I'll reestablish a connection and see what we can do here. Hello. Let's try this one last time here. The guest declined the live video invitation. There we go.
Wow.
Hey. Yes, I told you this thing could be such a dick.
What's up?
What's going on, brother?
That was ridiculous.
I had the same problem with Tim Loss.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't want to act right and it'll be a douche. So
Yeah. As with everything.
how you doing?
I'm doing good. I can't complain.
Yeah.
Really can't. I've had a good day today. We did a shoot for our next book, and it went really well. So,
Right on.
good day.
Is that I seen something on the Cyclone page about that?
Yeah.
It was Cyclone
That's the name
618.
of our next book is Cyclone.
Is it?
It's about the tornado of 1888 that leveled downtown Mount Vernon. And some of the local farmers blamed it on a witch. And so we're going to explore all the tales of witches and witchcraft in Southern Illinois and put them into one storyline.
Nice. See, my dad had told me something about that, saying that a bunch of a group of different religious preachers got together and basically blessed the town to keep us from getting hit, because that courthouse here has been screwed up quite a few times. Not in our
Yeah, that
timeline,
tornado was
but
very peculiar. It
yeah,
it had some strange things about it. And it seemed as if it was aiming for the courthouse. The way
right.
the path that it took was
Really
yes, it was strange. And so I've done some really deep research on it, and the firsthand accounts are terrifying because it was 1888. There was no tornado sirens or
oh god,
warning or anything. It was just
yeah.
bang, you know. So
Here we go.
yeah, it was wild. Wait till you hear some of the stories. It's freaking amazing.
Nice. When does it look like it's going to be coming out? Your book?
We'll probably finish the pictures in the fall, and then I'll have to do the writing. And so it'll be 2022 before it actually is
Nice.
finished. Yeah.
Right on.
The way we
One
do it
sec.
takes a long time because we take all the pictures first, and then I write the story based upon how the pictures look. People think that we do it the other way around, but we
Right
actually
on.
take, for Bootlegger, we took over 1,000 photos.
Wow.
And so for this one, it will be more like 2,500 or 3,000. So
Nice. Yeah,
bigger cast.
I seen you guys were looking for extras.
Yeah, we had some people show up and they did really great. They bought great wardrobe, and it turned out. Today we were shooting our church congregation, and so they would be the enemy of our witches.
Right.
So we have 11 different witches.
Nice.
Yeah. The
Nice.
stories I found are great. I can't wait to share it with everybody. It's going to be fun. A lot of fun.
Right on. Right on. You got anything musically going on? I see you're out at the Granada now.
Yeah, I'm working at the Granada. I've been doing lights for the first few shows we've done. I've done the lights, which has
Right.
been not necessarily a brand new thing, but as far as the technology goes, definitely a new thing. That board is like flying a spaceship, and the light setup there is unbelievable. It's top notch. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
I've got to learn that, and it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it. We have Cluster Pluck coming up on June 12th, and I'm really excited to do the lights for that, because that'll
Torres.
be a high energy, fun show. And so, yeah, it's been a good time working there so far.
Right on. You guys got any future plans for some bigger shows?
Oh, yeah. I mean, right now we've got a lot of weddings and events booked. We do
Right.
have some music happening this year. I'm not going to let the cat out of
Yeah.
the bag too much,
Yeah.
but we got some really cool stuff coming up here pretty soon. And I'm excited about that. And yeah, we're just going to build and get you know, bigger and bigger as the years go on. And then hopefully one day we'll have, you know, Rage Against the Machine or somebody. I doubt that.
It would be
but
nice.
We could have some big shows.
Right on. Never know. Might have another Metal in the Mountains there again.
I would love to do a big metal show there. I think one of
Yeah.
these days we're looking into that. You know, metal gets a bad reputation because everybody thinks there's going to be fights and blah, blah, blah. But really, that's not the
Right.
truth. From what I've found in my experience,
Same
especially
here.
nowadays, because mosh pits are probably a thing of the past. You
You're
know
probably
what I mean?
right.
With being the world we live in now, we got to experience those, and there won't be many more of those, I don't think. And so a lot of metalheads are just going to stand there and bang their head with their
Right.
beer, with their craft beer, and stroke their beard and talk about how beard oil smells.
Right. So what you been up to? What you got going on? Anything like I don't know. I don't even know if you do anything musically anymore, minus like working for the Granada and stuff. You got any band things going on or
I don't have any
musical
band things
interests?
going on. I'm hoping to get into the studio with Rob Whisenhunt soon to record something for. We're doing some songs, especially for a certain cause. And so we're collaborating with some other local musicians like Mr. Shipley and guys from Abaddon. And I'm going to do a little like a spoken word piece for that. I don't do a lot of singing anymore, but I do a lot of spoken word and poetry. And I'm
Right on.
working on some short stories and poetry that I'm going to release as a book. Hopefully sometime soon. Editing poetry is like slowly slicing your own throat, so that's a ongoing process. But yeah,
Right.
I haven't done a lot musically. I play some harmonica every now and then with random people who
Right.
stop by the house with an acoustic guitar or something, you know. But
I
yeah,
remember
that's about it. I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I
Yeah.
enjoy helping people get their careers off the ground and giving people advice on how to do this and how to do that. We started the open mic at Geo's, which is, you know, under new hands now, but going very well and doing awesome. I'm excited about that because you got to have a good open mic or two in your town to have a good music scene. And
Yeah.
so, you know, I always look at it like you got the major leagues, you got the minor leagues, and you got, like, you know, on down the line. So you got to have all those levels to have a good music scene and to have musicians progressing along the way, you know. So it's important to
Right.
have those open mics and those spots where musicians can take a chance and jump in there and show people their craft.
Right. I was always like intrigued at the way the scene decides to make waves through Southern Illinois. Like some towns will open it wide open and then it'll dissipate from those towns, and then those same bands that have been in those towns will go to other towns and it'll get really crazy in those towns. It's a strange wave that comes through here that I've watched for like the last 10 years or so. But going back, me and you have had some conversations about certain things about like the history of the music scene in Southern Illinois, as far back as it might actually go, is beyond me. I don't even, I couldn't even speculate as to how far back it probably goes in Mount Vernon, with the Granada having its historical backing.
1937, I think, is when the Granada opened.
Yeah.
And I think it was mainly movies and like, I think they did have some music in the beginning. But yeah, I mean, there's been a good scene around Southern Illinois for quite a while now. You know, the SIMC was a big part of that, but that was just one specific genre. If you get into like folk and bluegrass, man, there's some legendary players from around here. But I love that the metal scene is still going and that it's still sort of thriving. I mean, those Metal of the Mountain shows still do well when we have them. And that's a good, there's a good a core group of people there, I think, that keep it going.
Right.
And I'm pretty proud to see that still happening when we started it so many years ago. And we didn't necessarily start the whole thing, but I think we were the first ones to band together and be like, hey, instead of fighting each other and, there's no sense in that. We should all band together. And and work together and book shows together. And so we created a nice little group there of bands that was awesome. It was fun.
It was fun. The last one I remember being was at the Granada was Metal to Mountains 5 with you guys coming back from Gogata. For those that are watching that don't know about them, Brian was the lead singer of Gogata here out of Mount Vernon. And they came back for a reunion show, yes. I just actually got a shirt donated to me because I'd never had one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I caught the tail end of you guys.
Right.
My first show of watching you guys, my very first show of actually paying attention and watching was the night you cut your dreadlocks off.
Really?
Yes. I was sitting in the back. I was at
Static.
Oh, hell, Static. Club Static. They're on Broadway and 37.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
and
in
I
the
didn't
back
tell
when
the
you
band
first...
that.
Huh?
I didn't tell the band I was going to do that.
Oh, yeah?
I just pulled out a pocket knife and started cutting dreadlocks off. They
hacked them
They
off.
thought I was crazy.
Yeah, that was the first show that I had really paid attention. The first show that I seen you guys, I have said 1,000 times on the podcast, was at I believe it was SIMC2 in DuQuoin at they had a recital area set up. And it was all like decorated with frilly flowers and shit.
Yes.
You guys got up there and destroyed shit. So
yes.
We didn't destroy that.
I think we have video of
that. Huh?
I think we have video of that.
Oh, man, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I think so. I quoted The Door. I quoted Jim Morrison that night in the part of Ognotten where I always throw out quote. I quoted Jim Morrison. I remember that night very well because I had to work. And so I got brought like 10 minutes before we went on stage. I arrived at the show.
Yeah, if I recall, Chester was running around with a cast on.
Yeah.
Out the show. I guess he had broke his arm prior to that. He was outside.
That was a wild
like a nut. Going all over the place. Where did you get your start in the scene around here musically? Where did you get your start at? What band or like
in Salem?
Gogata or?
No, in Salem, Illinois. I had a friend named Brian Hampton who was a high school friend of mine. Amazing guitar player. He could just learn a song in 5 minutes. And he played with Bumpin' Uglies for a long time. I don't know if he still does or not, but he played with them guys for a long time. We were driving around one night, and we had a friend named Mike Jake who was an awesome bass player. Mm-hmm. And we knew a couple drummers. And so we would always drive around and I would sing in the car. And my buddy Brian was like, yeah, we're going to start a band. And he's like, Mike Jake's going to play bass and so-and-so is going to play drums. I'm going to play guitar and you're going to sing. And I was like, oh no, that's not happening. And he was like, yeah, man, you can do it. You can do it. And so we had a practice in his garage and we did like Danzig and Nine Inch Nails and Tool, believe it or not. We did Bottom, off of Undertow. And, I think we did Crawl Away off Undertow too. So we did some Nirvana songs,
Right.
And so, yeah, it worked. I could do it. And so I was like, well, we're going to give this thing a whirl because I'd rather be a rock and roll singer than a fucking grocery store clerk. And so, why not?
Oh, yeah.
And so I became this rock and roll punk rock singer. I was always in love with music. And, I would, at my house, I would put on like Pearl Jam 10 and just sing the whole album, And me and my buddies after work would like karaoke and shit, getting drunk on Ice House and hot damn. And, And so, but it worked. And so I got into it. And then I started writing songs. I had always written poetry since I was really little. And so I took those poems and turned them into punk rock songs. And then we started an original band with actually Brian Hampton's brother, Paul, and a couple of other guys. And then I found these guys from Patoka, and we started Ooze. We were called Ooze.
I remember hearing about this.
We were all original, hard punk rock. And then we got with Nick Hoffman from Main Street Records.
Okay.
And he became our second guitar player. And then that kind of dissipated. And then for about a year, I had a kid, and I was doing that and working in restaurants. And Nick Hoffman called me up and was like, I got this new project. We just kicked our singer out. I want you to be the new singer. And I was like, okay. So I went to practice and I recorded their practice on a little cassette tape.
Right.
And I took it home and I wrote 5 songs in one night. And I went back to practice like the next night or the night after. And this is with Gogata. And it just clicked. Automatically, the songs that I had written just automatically clicked. And we were a thing. And so we started polishing up and getting ready to play our first show. And our first show, man, where was our first show? Man, I feel
Trivia
bad now.
time.
Yeah, somebody comment. Chester, if you're still out there.
Yeah, he's
help
out
us
there.
out.
He said his last comment was that you touched him inappropriately one time.
Oh, whatever. He used to cuddle with me. That bastard.
Yeah. So you stay
I
in
knew
touch
when
with
he
everybody
jumped on,
still?
it was gonna get out of control as soon as he jumped
Oh
on.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's
I
always a
love
good
those
time
guys,
with Chester.
man.
Oh,
We
I
had
know.
such a good time together, and it was hard, amazing. It was like a miracle to find 4 other people. We all got along. We all had the same passion for the music. And when I got in Gogata, I was like, this is my thing. I really thought we were going to hit it big. I really believed that we were destined for big things. And I sort of have mixed feelings about that today. Would it have been nice to have hit it big and been a huge rock star? Yeah. But would my life be completely different, and might have I gone off the deep end? Yeah. So, I think it could have gone either way, but I'm kind of glad that it went the way it did. Otherwise, I might be a complete lunatic.
It's a strange pill to swallow, ain't it?
It is.
To think
it took a
yeah.
lot for me to come to terms with that. Like,
Right.
I really thought that we were going to sign a record deal and go on tour. And even if it would have been on a small scale, just opening up for, regional acts or whatever.
Right.
Which we got to open up for Mastodon.
I was going to say, I thought that's how it went for you guys. Right
at the Creepy Crawl in St. Louis, which was fucking awesome.
So I've never been to the Creepy Crawl. I don't even know where that is or what it was.
It's not a thing anymore. No, it's gone.
Yeah, well, I figured, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a hole in the wall, man. I mean, it was a hole in the wall where, the best punk and metal bands that you can possibly think of played at in St. Louis back in the day. And the first time I walked in there, there's chicken wire between the bar and the stage. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre was playing on a little tiny TV behind the bar. Man, it was a wild place. Like the green room was, the bathroom where the wall is knocked down and the urinals half hanging off the sink and shit. Like, yeah,
I think Jason told me a story about one of the shows you guys were at where somebody pulled a gun out in the parking lot. I don't know if that was that place or not. Because he says somebody yelled gun and everybody fucking scattered immediately. It was after a show. I guess it was you guys in Annihilate the Hero playing somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would have been local probably. Who knows? I mean,
right.
There was some wild shit, but
right.
we liked playing in St. Louis. I loved playing the Creepy Crawl. I tell you, another place I got to mention that we played that I'm really proud of is the Lost Cross in Carbondale. We played there. I played there as Ooze and Gogata. And that, to me, is like a legendary place. If you ever been to a show or played a show at the Lost Cross, you will definitely remember it because it was one of a kind.
Oh, I've seen the pictures of that basement down there, and I had earlier at the beginning of this season had interviewed Roger Perez, and he had told me that the place had sold.
Purple Beard.
Yeah, he told me that the Lost Cross had sold to somebody and they revamped the outside, but they don't know what's going to happen to the inside. So if anybody's watching it, please comment on here. Let me know what's going on with it on here while we're on this live feed, because that'd be awesome to know about. But I do know that they got sold to somebody, but I just don't know what's going to happen to it. Yeah.
Well,
I always wanted to play there.
Epic shows there, and I played, I think it was with Ooze, that my pants kept falling down, and so I played the rest of the show in my boxers. And I know somebody somewhere's got some pictures of me in my boxers at the Lost Cross. I would love to see that.
That's great, right? God only knows the pictures if somebody's got of me. I don't even want to see them.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that. Well, Robbie's got pictures that she's like, yeah, you remember this show? And I'm like, no.
Chester just commented on here saying the first time I seen the boys was at Tearpin in the Dookie. Battle of the Bands. I was running sound and a secret judge.
Yes, that is right. We played, that wasn't our first show, I don't think, but we played a Battle of the Bands at the Tin Pin Alley in DuQuoin. And it was like our fourth or fifth show or something. It was very early in our career, and I went off the rails, man. I went out into the crowd and like grabbed a trash can and spun it around and threw it, and like jumped up on people's tables and was headbanging, and just we put on a show, and we won the Battle of the Bands.
Nice.
And I think the deciding vote was actually Justin Caraway, and he was the lead singer of Assassins of Youth.
Okay.
And so they were in the Battle of the Bands also, which everybody thought, oh, well, they're going to win. But, and maybe Chester was the deciding vote. I don't know if he was the secret judge, but we won by one vote, I think. And that's what started really that whole thing, was that we thought that was an awesome gesture. And so we became friends with Assassin of Youth and Chester. I think he was in Adrift at the time, I think.
Right on.
But we all became buddies. And instead of fighting each other, we were like, man, we should form together and like do shows together and kick people's faces in instead of just one band. Yeah. And so it worked. We started hanging out and booking shows and you know, getting bigger crowds and then involving more bands. And then somebody eventually said we should form this as an actual, you know, SIMC, Southern Illinois Metal Collective. And I wasn't there for those meetings or anything like that, but I definitely brought that attitude to every show. It was like, we're not going to fight with these other bands. We're going to be friends with them. We're going to be cool. You know, we're going to form together into like a Voltron type figure or whatever.
And that's where I took my cue from, I think, also, is because I had heard the stories about the SIMC and knew that it wasn't necessarily non-existent. It just online it was non-existent anymore. But it kind of just went back from, you know, it went back into the underground again, basically. I've had 2 or 3 occasions where members that were actual board members, the voting, you know, the accounting vote, had come to me and told me that, you know, you need to just take the helm for it. And I'm like, no, because that's you guys's. You know what I mean? That would be, and I've agreed also that if I was to do it, it would be like SIMC too. And I don't want that kind of badge. I don't want to try to take from somebody else's thing. I hit it close enough to the belt for what you guys had done, but like stealing the logo, the background logo, stuff like that I've used in my stuff to try to just keep it similar to where it's not as hard to confuse people. Like there's a problem with amongst metalheads where we confuse things a little bit sometimes, and it's mostly like, for instance, Metal in the Mountains versus Mountain Mayhem. I still get, hey, when's the next Metal in the Mountains? And I'm like, it's Mountain Mayhem now, and I don't know, call Chop.
There is a lot of confusion there. But I'm just glad, no matter what it's called, I'm glad those shows go on. Mm-hmm. And, you know, whoever takes over the helm, you know, as long as they're worthy of that title or whatever, keep pushing the scene forward, and keep supporting local bands, because, you know, I've been involved in scenes before that were just cutthroat and everybody was looking out for themselves and it didn't work. Nobody cared, you know, the public didn't care. But if you all band together, I always take the quote from, I don't know if Chris Novoselic is the one who came up with it, but the bass player from Nirvana, he said in an interview one time, many bands make tight work. And so, you know, if you take many bands and they all band together, then you can come up with something really cool and really neat, like a scene. And then, you know, you can have your own thing where people from the outside other communities can come into Mount Vernon and be like, oh, wow, I saw a really awesome original band that was from Mount Vernon, in Mount Vernon. They have their own thing going on there.
Right.
You know, Carbondale's had that in the past. You know, they still kind of
Oh yeah.
do. I think Effingham's got a really cool scene going on right now. You know,
What is
obviously
going on in Effingham right now?
Effingham has a couple of really awesome music festivals. Moccasin Creek is coming up, I think, next month.
Okay.
Check that out. It's a lot of folk and I wouldn't say country, but you know, a lot of folk and bluegrass and newgrass and
Right.
stuff like that. A lot of great singer-songwriters. And then there's Summer Sundown Music Festival, which is in the fall. I think it's the third weekend of September this year. They always have a banger lineup, and I mean they've had Grammy Award winners or Grammy nominated acts on that stage. It's
Right
at
on.
Lake Sarah in Effingham, and it's just a beautiful setting. And Garrett Burris and Bill Pasquale are two people who are working really hard up there to keep that scene going. And Taylor Steele and the Love Preachers is a band from up there that I follow and really like. And you know, I try to link those two scenes together
Hmm.
because then we could have a whole central Southern Illinois scene where
Hmm.
bands from the outside could come in and be like, I'm going to do the I-57 tour. I'm going to play John Brown's in Marion on Thursday night. I'm going to play the Granada in Mount Vernon on Friday
Well,
night. And then I'm going to play a club or, you know, a festival in Effingham on Saturday night. And that's going to
right.
be my little stop through Illinois on my way to Chicago or whatever. You know, and that could work for folk bands, that could work for blues bands,
Just
that
about
could
any
work for
genre.
metal bands,
Yeah.
you know, that are just passing through. You could hit up 3 or 4 shows or whatever. So I think
Right.
building that connection between, you know, Marion, Carbondale, Mount Vernon, and Effingham is important. And
Oh yeah.
I've been really working hard to build those relationships and just reach out and talk to people from those scenes and be
Right.
like, you know, let's work together. I'm going to volunteer at Moccasin Creek actually, so I'll be taking tickets or whatever they want me to do. Who knows? And I'm going to volunteer at Summer Sundown too, because I've got that weekend free. And so, you know, they're just really good people who are want to build a scene, and it's not metal. You know, it's not metal music. They do have some metal bands, obviously, from those
Right.
scenes, and they're supported too. You know, it's kind of all one big family. If you play music, then you know, let's get in on this. Just don't be an asshole.
That's the kicker. Have fun and don't be a prick.
That's
There's so
really,
many that forget how to do that. They get
I know,
into it,
right?
and then the egos start, and then you just start getting people that are they're assholish in the scene, and it's the oldest story in the book. One bad apple ruins the whole bunch,
Yeah,
and it can tear
then
a
it
scene
spreads.
completely apart. Yeah, it spreads like friggin' just like cancer. It
Yeah,
takes everything to try to reformat again. Like I was saying, like with the sim, I think honestly it was for me. I birthed that whole idea for Southern Illinois metal movement out of the fact that Spirit of Chaos got fucked at a battle of the bands that we did in Johnson City. They'd already pre-picked who they wanted
yeah,
and just basically revenued it like 3 weekends of it, just revenue, just fucking tore everybody a new one on it, and we figured it out like third show right before finals. And we show up, and the dudes that they're getting ready to pick her in, they're just cutting up, having a good time with them. We're supposed to be in there drawing straws. So we show up a half
right.
hour early. Yeah, we show up a half hour early, and we knew the fix was in from that moment on. We watched it all fall apart, go the way it was going to go. The crowd was pissed. The promoter got shunned basically, and within 6 months nobody was going there, and they had to close down. So
Wow.
it karma came back to bite them. We necessarily didn't probably have much to do with it, but just the karma behind that was great to see. But I was more concerned with the fact that what you guys started already existed when I came in. It just
Yeah,
was underground. It was underground. It still stayed. It was, hey, let's get 3 or 4 bands together and run the circuit around here of all the local bands, like not bands, but local areas that you could play still, like Georgia Snake Pit, Centralia. You know, you could play the Crossing here in Mount Vernon. If you really wanted
yeah.
to, you could play the Spot Tavern. You could. The
Boot
biggest thing that
Juniors.
I miss, right?
You remember
The
Boot
biggest.
Juniors?
I've heard of it. I've never
Oh
experienced
man.
it, but
Okay,
I've
so
heard of
when
it.
you're leaving Carbondale, on the one way, and you would look over to your left and you'd see a Grateful Dead dancing bears on the side of a building. That was Boo Junior's. And it was like a little bar in the back of a motel. And man, we played there many, many times and had some that was a great place to play because the crowd was right on top of you.
Right.
You know, if you watch the Go-Gotta DVD on YouTube, there's a great shot of a show at Boo Junior's where the crowd just tackles me. Like, they're just insane. And they just tackle me and like roll me over. And then we're like battling, you know. It was so
That's
much
awesome.
fun. They were real punk rock shows, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we're not going to see much of that anymore, but like I broke my ribs at a show at Boo Junior's.
Damn.
Because I somersaulted over our bass player, Jason, into the drum set and broke a rib.
Oh, shit.
You know, I mean, they were punk rock. They were real punk rock shows, you know.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We
In
just
a punk rock
don't
show,
see
the
that
band
anymore.
ain't getting in it. Oh, I know.
Right?
It's getting sad. Like, I talked to Roger, and after the interview and everything, I talked to him, and he said that the scene's still thriving. The bars aren't.
Right.
The bars aren't, and they're going to quieter music so they draw less attention, so they don't have to worry about this COVID restriction nonsense. You know, the bars, the restaurants.
World now. Yeah.
You and I come from that restaurant world. We know what these guys are going through with this right now. Seeing every damn sign going down the street, seeing that they need help, and I feel bad. You know, I feel bad in my situation because I got worked 14 places, but I know that the people that are showing up for work are getting their ass kicked right now, and it's because everything's relaxing. But those people, 2020 was the year of the side hustle. 2020 was the year of the side hustle.
It is, and a lot of people haven't thought about that. People took that stimulus money and they started their own business, or they started their own thing, you know. And so I think we're seeing a lot of that where people are doing their own thing now, and they're investing in. I'm not going to invest my time and money in a corporation. I'm going to invest my time and money in myself.
Right.
And I think people are taking mental health a lot more seriously now. And so stressing yourself out over whether or not you get a fucking cheeseburger or not, it's not important anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a delicate line to balance with, you know, getting your hustle on and, you know, working yourself to the grave.
Yeah, I mean, if you're happy with what you do, then you're truly not working. We've all heard that. Anybody over 25 has heard that. But some people had no choice but the side hustle. And I feel bad for the people like we lost Fine Swine Barbecue here in Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
They had just opened up, COVID struck. I mean, they weren't here 6 months and COVID hit. And they ended up closing both of the Mount Vernon and the St. Louis place. And any other like mom and pop shop I don't know how half of them survived. You know,
well, I'll tell you what, the businesses that did survive, the mom and pop places that did survive, they adapted and they evolved.
Oh, I'd imagine. Yeah.
And the people that said, I'm going to keep doing things the way I've always done them, died. And you had to think of new things. You had to get creative.
The blockbuster effect.
Adjust. You know, that's evolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the businesses that did make it, they did things differently, and they thought of new ways of doing things. And, you know, we had to do that with Robbie's photography studio. We had to think of new ways of doing things. And
you guys had just got that. You guys had just got that prior to COVID as well, didn't you?
Yeah, it'll be 2 years in September that we kicked that off. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, my fiance is Robbie Edwards. She owns Robbie Edwards Photography Studio. June 11th, we're having an art exhibition. Come check it out.
Where at?
At Robbie's studio, downtown Mount Vernon. Yep, 922 Main Street. We'll have Cat Caldwell playing some tunes. I'm going to make some tasty punch and some snacks. Yeah. Actually, my niece from Rise and Shine Bakery is going to make some tasty cupcakes and cookies and stuff. And so we're all about supporting local businesses, man. I think that's another thing. While we're on this subject, that's another thing I think we should talk about is how 2020 was terrible, but it gave us a chance to really sit down and reevaluate things. And I think the big thing that come out of it is we should support local businesses. any way you can, even if you have to pay a couple dollars more for whatever it is you're doing, support these local businesses because it's so important to a community, not just a music scene or whatever, but just a community in general. And so, maybe you can get that thing at a downtown business for $2 more than you can at Walmart. So go ahead
Very
and pay that
true.
$2.
Yeah, I was upset whenever we lost our IGA here.
Yes,
Speaking about conglomerate versus the small man's place, but
absolutely.
Sharps is getting ready to close here, and I'm going to be so sad to see that go because
I don't even
there's
know how
no.
long it's been here. Yeah.
Oh my God! Like they used to have 4 stores here. I think it was 4 stores here, and they're down to the one on
Really?
37. Yeah, they had the one on by me out here in Summersville, and then they had
Yeah.
the one on 12th Street. They had the
Yeah.
one in Wayne City and the one on 37.
Wow.
And I know that the one in Mount Vernon on 37 is the only one left, and I
I think there
believe
was
both.
one in Salem, actually.
Was there one in Salem?
I think
I never
so.
knew about that. You're
I think
probably
so,
right.
if I remember right. It was the Sharps for a little while. I could be
Oh, it
wrong.
was the greatest place to get cut meat.
Oh
Greatest
yeah, when
place.
I was a meat eater, I don't eat meat anymore. Sometimes
I
I
gave
miss
it a
it.
try. I gave it a try. I
Yeah,
made it
it's
for.
hard, man. It's
Oh,
hard.
dude, I made it 3 months solid, straight up 3 months, damn near the day, and ended up in the hospital because of my sodium count. Because I wasn't
Yeah, you
checking my
gotta
sodium.
adjust. You gotta
Yeah, dude,
adjust.
it's a hell of an adjustment. And
In the words of Eastwood Frisch, I'm a lazy vegetarian. If there's some meat around, I might eat some.
right,
but for the most part, I'm a vegetarian. So,
right.
but yeah, Sharps was the greatest place to get meat, and they've been barely making it for a while now. It's great to
Yeah,
have Walmart in your town, but it's also not so great.
it. Yeah, I
So
know. And like the closest place I got to here is like, well, I mean, you're here in Mount Vernon, so
yeah,
the closest place we got to here is friggin' I think Salem or Nashville to get anything cut like that. Now I can't necessarily like walk up to
yeah.
a
What do we got?
Kroger because of my.
Bierman's, wherever that place is at. Bierman's is a real good.
Yes, yeah. I used to get that. We used to get it shipped in when I was a butcher at Kroger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Their snack sticks are the best shit on the planet. They're Slim Jims. Oh, that and the Brown Schwager.
Who knew we were going to talk about Braunschweiger? I didn't have that on the list. I'm
So
sure
how is
Chester's
everything?
got a sausage joke in there somewhere.
Do what?
I'm sure Chester's probably got a sausage joke in there.
Oh,
somewhere.
if he's awake, yeah. Chop's on here now, so God only knows.
Chop's on here?
Yeah.
What's up, Bag?
Yesterday was his birthday, so happy birthday,
Was it
Turd.
really?
Yes, it was.
I fucking missed it. Happy birthday, Chop.
Right. And while
And
we're
see,
on
there's
here for
another guy who just keeps the thing going, who always trying to push forward and
Yep.
start a new band and write new music, And so you got to have those people that are willing to put themselves out there and do original things and
Right.
keep pushing the envelope. That's what makes a scene, Obviously, you got to have your cover bands that do their thing,
Yes.
and all that. Much respect to all those guys, but to those people out there that are putting their personalities out on the line and writing original music and saying original things and pushing against the grain, kudos to you.
Right. Right on. Chester's on here giving Chop shit. He said the only sausage joke is in Chop's pants.
Well, that was a lot more mild than I thought it was going to be.
Right. He's PGing it right now.
He's PG-13 for Facebook.
Right.
Zuckerberg.
Right. You'll get a
we're
Zucker
shut down now.
You'll get a Zucker turd if you don't watch it.
No, I'm hoping that some of the old guys from the SIMC jump on here and watch this, and because I don't get to talk to all those guys all the time, and we never really. Some of them we never really had real conversations. It was like, "What up, bro? Great show,
Right.
blah blah blah." I never got a chance to really sit down with them and pick their brain.
That's one of the reasons why I started the Sim Barbecue.
Yeah.
So it's not about playing a show. I don't know how many guys that I've invited. They're like, "What do we need to bring, man? How much gear do we need to bring?" I'm like, "No, it's just
Right.
a barbecue, buddy. We all just get together because we don't get a chance to. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
The,
yeah.
the the solid 9 to 5 of playing a gig is get the fuck there on time, get set up, get the hell played, get the hell off the set, and
Yeah.
and you might be able to mingle within your adrenaline rush come down. You know,
Right. Yeah.
within
That's the other thing. You're really not in, I was never really in my right frame of mind to really mingle after the show because I'm like
right
coming off
rage.
the ultimate adrenaline high. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And
So
so there were some weird, I've had some strange conversations after shows where it's like, I'm not really in my right head right now. So,
yeah, I could definitely agree with that one. So that's the reason why I did It's Barbecues, so we all had a chance to just sit down and network and throw out gig areas and who might need what. You know, it's a great time to sit down and network and actually, hey, do you guys need a guitar player? I heard you're looking for a singer, blah, 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 blah. And we all get to sit down and actually throw names and numbers and exchange, get to hang out with each other's families, grow more of as a scene instead of business, 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 because we're all in business mode once we're all holding that instrument or gear in
yeah.
our throats or whatever the case may be to fucking get out there and do our thing. So we needed, I felt we needed a time of the year where we could have downtime. And that was
Yeah.
always Chop would do, like when it was Metal in the Mountains, it would be Metal in the Mountains and then the Sim Barbecue. It always falls both in August. Metal in the
Right.
Mountains is the first, when I did it, Metal in the Mountains would be the first Sunday in August, and then the Sim Barbecue is the last Sunday in August. So we all could keep in touch. And it keeps everything going. And I think it actually, like today, I think it helps more with mental health. Because, like you said
Yeah.
earlier, 2020, I can only imagine the poor bastards that lost their jobs and now you're being told you can't leave your apartment and you're single. Fuck that. That
Well,
right
I
there is
can't
a
tell you
mind
how
fuck.
many friends of mine that were musicians that were just getting their career started as, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start
Right.
playing shows every weekend and booking shows. And then now they can't do anything. And
Right.
so, you know, I can't imagine being somebody who, let's say they got laid off from their job and they were a musician, they can't play any shows, and now they can't even go anywhere.
Yeah.
You throw that all into the mix, you know, you're looking at
Solitary confinement.
exactly, you know,
And
and so I really enjoyed the way the musicians took to the live streams and Facebook Live. And even if it was just like, you know, my buddy Jake from the Smoke Rings would get on there and just play guitar live, you know what I mean?
there you
And it was
go.
awesome just to see him do like Van Halen songs, you know, or Led Zeppelin
Right.
songs or whatever. Um, and then other musicians would get on there and play their whole set, you know, and it was great to see them still doing their thing because what other choice did they have, you know?
True. And I mean
But
it's
thank God
not.
they had that option to where they could go
Oh, I
live,
know. I know. I
get
mean
tips,
it
still
was
get tips and stuff like that. That was great to actually watch, and I donated what I could, you know. I was lucky enough to keep working through all of that. Um, Actually
I was
got a
just getting
job.
ready. I was just getting ready
Yeah.
to ask if you guys were good through all of this.
I got a job right after the pandemic, right after the shutdown in March. I got hired in April at Cusamanos. And
Okay.
so I've been working there the whole time. And, you know, Robbie was still able to do photos because you
Right.
can stay 6 feet away from somebody and take their photo. And so that was, you know, she still was booking stuff and we were able to keep our heads above water and we didn't have to go on unemployment or anything like that,
Good.
um, which I should have because I would have made more money. But
Dude, I've been out at the bar the last 3 weekends, and that is the topic.
I mean, it is what it is, you
I
know. I
mean,
mean,
everybody's talking about
I
it.
was
How it's
happy to be
just
the working man, you know,
right,
and
right,
help feed the great people of Southern Illinois. You know, I was shipping out food all over the place, so I was
right.
happy to be doing that. It made me it made me feel better as a person to be working and doing that than it was to be sitting at home. Because I mean, I sit at home too long, I'm gonna go crazy. So I got to be out there doing something. You know, I'm driving Robbie
I'm.
nuts and wonder she hasn't murdered me already. So
I feel you on that one. I'm home 24. You know what I mean?
right,
So
yeah,
I'm doing this full time now. I literally just signed a commitment with the band today.
Nice.
to start playing music again in a different style. So we're going to see how this
Really?
goes, and I'm truly excited. Yeah, I joined
Garth
up.
Brooks cover band?
Huh?
Garth Brooks cover band?
No, I signed up with the guys from Downcast today.
It's called the
So
Chixie Dicks.
the Tixie Dicks. I like that. That's a good one. I like that.
No. What is it? What is it? Seriously.
Downcast from Christopher.
Oh, okay. Right on.
Yeah.
What
So
style?
I'm staying finger style, but I'm not going with slap anymore. I'm going with just a drop D with standard, and we're gonna run through things and see how we're doing. It's hard rock metal, so it's still my cup of tea, but it's not near as fast as what I played in Spirit of Chaos. So it's gonna be a lot easier on the hands, because
Right on.
I'm in my mid-40s now, and shit's starting to hurt.
Oh, I feel you. I went skating the
Oh,
other night, like
oh.
roller skating,
No shit. I
and I
haven't
was
been
feeling
skating in
it today,
25 years.
brother.
I bought a 21 speed and it tried to kill me. I made it around the block. I made it around the block once and I was like, "Oh damn. I think I made a
Yeah,
mistake."
we're old now.
Oh, it hurt. I'm keeping it. I don't care. I'm going at it. I don't give a shit. I'm 270 pounds, man. I got to get this weight off my big ass.
Yeah,
So,
get out there and ride some bike. You were
right.
Lance Armstrong. Don't
Right.
lose a nut.
No, I'm throwing shit. Let's do some comment chasing. What's people talking shit about on here? Let's see
Yeah,
here.
I can't see the comments actually.
You can't see the comments?
No, I could earlier, but I can't now.
Chester said, Jeannie says, tell Robbie love you.
Oh, absolutely. I'll try and get her up here in a minute.
Okay.
See if she wants to make an appearance.
Right. Yeah, I guess Chop dropped off of here. I don't know where he's at now.
Well, you know, he's got craft beers to drink.
Oh, I can imagine. You see his apartment?
I have not.
Oh my God, he's above a bar.
Oh, really?
Yes. I shit you not. Like
That's
his back,
hilarious.
he sits on his back deck and you can see the beer garden area. I was like, holy shit.
That's hilarious.
Right. Of all people.
No, I like those guys, you know, after everything with Clarence, I don't want to get too much into that because it's an ongoing situation or whatever, but
Oh, yes.
it was nice to see some of those guys rally around and
Right.
I'm
Yes, I
gonna
made
help.
an appearance out there as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna help out with a song or maybe two.
Right.
We're gonna do some original stuff, and so that's kind of cool. That you know, who knows what'll happen with it? We'll put it out
Right.
on a CD or something, but I just think it's cool that you know, got to support each other. You know, no matter what the situation may be.
Right. I mean, for those that don't know,
The guy still needs support no matter what. So
hell yeah, hell yeah. But for those of you that are watching that don't know about it or will watch this later when it replays, Clarence Kellerman was actually involved in an incident at the crossing in Mount Vernon, Illinois, where he ended up in the hospital. He got pretty fucked up. He's doing better. He's slowly, from what I've heard, he's slowly getting his shit together and expected to be out of the hospital soon. So we love you, brother. We miss you. We hope you are doing good. I'm sure, and my love goes out to your family and the boys from Abaddon. So, but like you said, I
absolutely.
don't want to go any further in that. We all know what we know, and we're gonna keep that off the air. So I appreciate the respect on that one as well. So
Yeah,
you know, was that Robbie I seen in the background?
it was. She's gonna grab me another brewski and
Ah,
pop on here for a second.
right on.
She can't comment for some reason. It's not
Really?
letting her comment. Yeah, so she's like
I don't
trying to
know.
put stuff on there, but she can't. Who knows? Facebook's
There's
weird.
no telling. I don't have any moderator. I'm sitting here with a tablet in my face and no computer, so I'm not moderating it as I go. I'm just letting it run.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, anything else going on that you know about, like show-wise or anything like that, that you wanted to plug while you're on here? Because I will definitely get as many tags as possible running for all these.
I mean, we've got you know, like I said, we got some stuff coming up at the Granada. June 12th is Cluster Pluck. July 10th is a show that I don't think's been announced yet, so I don't want to say anything.
Okay.
But that'll be a good one, and a good local show, actually. And then
Right.
August 7th, I think it's already been announced, we have rock opera from St. Louis, which is some
Right.
really talented guys that'll be doing covers, but they're super talented. And then in September, we have a comedy show with Tim Loss.
Yes.
I think he's the MC for that. And
Right
so
on.
looking forward to that. And then I think we're doing maybe another comedy show later on after that. I know there's something else I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, we have another rock show coming up in October, I think. That's going to be really good. If you like the Black Keys or sort of that type of thing,
Right on.
you really dig the show we got coming up in October at the Granada. So stay tuned. We're going to announce those, kind of as they come along. And I'm just glad to see that the music scene is still alive. I know one thing we haven't talked about. Cedarhurst. I'm in charge of outdoor concerts at Cedarhurst Center for the Arts here in Mount Vernon, and really proud of that. And looking forward to building that up to be really something in the future. I would really like to have a music festival there one day. I don't
Right.
know how we go about that or how that happens. We're going to work towards that, though. But I book all the music for the craft fair, and I lead the committee that does the outdoor concerts. So we got Mountain King and Mr. Blotto coming up July 17th, which is Robbie's birthday.
Hello.
25.
25, exactly. And then we got Blues and Brews in August, and we got Matt Keane coming down from Peoria, who is like a Stevie Ray Vaughan type of guy. He'll just blow your doors off. And then, oh man, I can't remember this guy's name. And I'll butcher it if I try to say it. But we have a really awesome blues player from Chicago that is the headliner for Blues and Brews. And he's amazing. You guys are going to love him if you're into the blues. But man, there's so many exciting new creative bands. I mean, just last night you had Mudhouse and Cause of Ruin. Heron, and Oakwood Grove is a really cool band that's brand new and kind of coming up. I'm trying to think of some other ones that are, just kind of making their way into people's minds. But yeah, there's a lot of exciting new original music in Southern Illinois. If you can't find it, you're not looking for it.
Right.
It's out there.
Like I try to spend as much time as I can getting as many things as I can put out there, including doing this here. And it's you're not lying. You can find it anywhere, literally. You could go to a band's website, you could go to my website, you could go to freaking Granada's website, and everybody's mingled in. And when I say website, I'm saying Facebook, because it's basically the greatest advertisement program that ever existed, but it's got its faults.
It is.
Like it's very hard to not use it if you're in my position.
Yes.
And you guys' position as well, with what you guys are doing, because that's how I get my information on what you're doing is Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, website creation is
a love-hate relationship we have with Facebook.
Yes.
I think that's with a lot of people. But doing what we're doing and doing what we love to do, you kind of have to, and I can't stress this enough to musicians out there who are wanting to start your career. Unfortunately, you're going to have to learn to use Facebook and social media. So just go ahead and do it. And I know you hate it. And I know you want to sit in your room and write sad songs all day. But
write them about Facebook.
You need to get on Facebook to promote your sad songs. So,
right.
It's I'm trying to think of the phrase. What's the phrase I'm looking for here? It's a necessary evil.
Good way to put it. Good way to put it. So how's Miss Robbie?
Pretty awesome. I just put the kiddo down to sleep. She was listening for a little bit, and then you guys kind of not you put her to sleep because you're boring, but like it was, I guess, soothing or something. Like listen to her dad talk. She was like,
Right.
so.
It was probably boring.
One day it might be entertaining, but we will never know.
We've showed her, videos of him, playing live or whatever, and she didn't act too surprised, but
Right.
No, my kids, it's funny. Their reaction is never like, oh, I can't believe that's you,
Right.
They're like, oh, yeah, we get that.
Yeah, my
You're
older
crazy.
two.
We got it. Yeah.
Well, my older two, I got a 21-year-old and a 17-year-old, and they grew up during my years with SOC.
Yeah.
So the time frame that I was playing with them, they were in the middle of their childhood. So for
Right.
that 10 years, they knew it. So to them, it's like, yeah, okay, I already know this, because my daughter's in college now, and she's got friends that come up to her and goes, "Is this your dad?" And they're like,
Yeah.
she's like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "I didn't know he did this," and he's like, "Yeah." And it's not a shocker. But to my little ones, when they see, like my youngest two are 7 and 3, and when they see me on YouTube, when it comes through the filter, because we'll just turn it on and let it run, and sometimes it'll come through the filter on there, and I'll get a song like once every year, if I'm lucky. And my 6-year-old caught one and was like, in the front room, just like, "This is not correct. What happened here?" Because I'm aged, this is a decade ago, so I'm coming into hitting that 5-0, and she just doesn't get it. To her, I'm the big fluffy guy on the couch.
Right, yeah. How could you possibly
doesn't
be
get
that guy on the television that does that stuff?
banging his head into a speaker, pops or whatever the case may be. So it is entertaining to watch them when they finally get the connection and they go, "Oh, damn." So that's where my 3-year-old is.
Before we go, I have to mention some of my favorite bands from our time in the SIMC, and Robbie will probably be able to help me out. Obviously, Assassins of Youth, Annihilate the Hero, Headfix, great band that nobody really knows about. They were early SIMC days. Point of Violence, that was Jonah Brubaker and Aaron Edwards back in the day. They were awesome. Chain Driven, how about that name?
Those are McLean boys.
That's McLeansboro, Hamilton County guys. Man, I know we're forgetting a ton. Help me out here. Adrift, that was Chester's band. That was really cool. And he did the whole Pour. Yeah, that was a really good one. That was with Marshall, who R.I.P. Marshall and Miss Jeannie. And there's tons more.
Well, I was gonna say Lie by Mistake.
Lie by Mistake,
but they were St. Louis based. But
how about Zeus?
Oh, yes.
Almighty Zeus. We love those guys. Played a ton of shows with them.
I think their guitar player is the one that broke his guitar strap at that show I was telling you about, where Chester was in the sling, and they had to duck. I think they duct taped his shit back to it. He's like, "If you can't duck it, fuck it," right there on the middle of the stage.
Yeah. Lunch.
It was
that
insane.
was their guitar player's name.
Oh shit.
he was great, man. We had a ton of fun with those guys. They were good.
Kevin,
my thing is I wish
in Japan, and he's like a teacher over there.
Damn. Yeah, they're all over the place now.
My thing is I wish we could find the music from that time. These bands you're talking about.
It's out there.
I'd imagine. I just would love to see somebody make it surface for circulation again.
One of these days, me and Robbie, we've talked about this. We're working on a book now. We've already got our next book planned out as to what we're going to do. So after that, I really want to take a serious look at doing like an SIMC documentary and getting all the music and old footage, because, there's lots of video out there.
Oh, I can only imagine. Jesus.
We have little videotapes that need to be put on through like.
I got a whole stack.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, damn.
That's all Go-Gotta shows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so an SIMC documentary would be pretty cool. Just to show, this younger generation what you can do if you band together and stop your stupid little fights about whose girlfriend or whatever the hell you fight about, you know.
Right.
And just concentrate on the music and the scene and the shows and making them good and the sound, you know, and not
Oh.
your craft, you know, master your
Yep.
craft instead of, you know, concentrating on all these little stupid things that break bands apart and stuff like that. And so it'd be cool to do a documentary and show some of that old footage and interview some of the guys now, you know.
Oh yeah.
It'd be interesting to interview some of those guys now and get their perspective on what they think about the SIMC nowadays, you know.
Yeah, I would be intrigued in that because people like me heard about the scene but wasn't allowed to even get near it. You know what I mean? I was sheltered
Right.
as a child, so I was very sheltered as far as like music goes, going to concerts, shit like that. Plus the financial situation of my home wasn't all that grand, so it made it difficult to be able to get out and go do any of that stuff. And I encountered it later. Like my daughter was born in 2000, and it was shortly around that same year that I had started hearing about all these shows that were going on in Mount Vernon. Because at that time you had the VFW, the Eagles, the Moose. You could rent a place for $200, get five bands together, put your money together, go get that place and promote it for a month. You know, but at that time you didn't have Facebook. I've talked with Harry Wadley, where he was telling me one time we were at a barbecue at his house one night, and he told me, he goes, dude, you have no idea how much Facebook changed things. We used to have to mail out postcards, and he said he's probably mailed 1 million postcards in his life, and letters and flyers to people, just using snail mail back then. You know,
we would go to the mall. We would go to the mall parking lot and hand out flyers because all the kids would be hanging out up there. And if we had an all ages show, we would go hand out flyers. I mean, yeah, Facebook was a game changer.
I'd imagine.
New generation does not even realize what we had to do to get the word out. Back in my day, we only had one game. It was called Stare at the Sun. And you got a lawn chair. You went out in the yard and you stared at the sun until you went blind. And whoever went blind last won the game.
Walk to school uphill, both ways.
We didn't have these fancy condoms either. You just skinned a rabbit and used that.
But it would be a hell of a retrospective piece for sure.
Yes, you know? I think so. It would be. It would show people who have no idea that even went on in this town.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You were in a band and you had to go hand out flyers. Why would you do that? It's like a kid asking nowadays, like, why do you say hang up the phone? Because back in the day, we literally hung it up on the wall.
I never even would have thought of that right now until you said it.
Right, yeah.
It is strange that it says
My
that
good
on
buddy
your phone.
Josh Nelson, one of his sons, who's another musician here in Mount Vernon, his son asked him one day, Dad, why did you say hang up the phone? And he said, well, we literally hung it up on the wall.
Yeah.
Back in the day. And so your mom would scream at you, hang up the phone.
Yep. It's crazy. I mean, I remember getting my first email, which back then you had to have a college email to have Facebook when it first started. And I remember I used my Ren Lake college email to get my first Facebook. And it was actually on a computer inside Ren Lake. So I remember getting that set up in like 99 or 2000, and then I never used it. Everybody was on Facebook because of what manipulations you could do on Facebook. Or MySpace, excuse me.
MySpace,
Yeah, MySpace you can manipulate all day. Top 10 music that you loved.
Yeah.
You change your backgrounds, your foregrounds, your cover.
Go Gotta had a MySpace.
Cause of Ruin had one when we started Driftwood String Band.
Popped on there, our song would play, you know. So we thought that was the coolest freaking thing ever.
That was awesome as hell back then. That was with the interactive CD.
There is a way to find, if you can remember what your username was, there's a way to find your old MySpace now. I just saw that.
Is Tom from MySpace on Facebook? Now that is an interesting question right there.
The only reason
I don't even know who
got
owns
Facebook is because you
MySpace
can
anymore.
pirate.
Do what?
And so the only reason why I got on Facebook is because you could make pirate talk instead of saying, what's on your mind. It said, "What be troubling ye." That was really the only. That's what Facebook sucked me in, is because you could speak, type in pirate. But now here I am still, and they took the pirate thing away, and
they took advantage of your fascination with Johnny Depp. Good job.
My wife has a fascination with Johnny Depp as well, so don't feel bad. Well, brother, that's about all I've got for you, man. I appreciate you taking your time, especially with technology issues we began with. So I truly appreciate it. It's good to see you. We need to get out and have a drink one night.
Absolutely.
I miss you
One
guys.
more thing we got to mention. I just thought of it. Lunatic is making new music.
Yes, I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard.
So
the
I
almighty.
hope those guys are listening to this, and I cannot freaking wait to hear what you guys have got planned. New music from Lunatic is what the world needs right now.
Yes, we could use some organized chaos. Yes,
that'll set things back right. We'll be back tilted on the correct axis when that album comes out. I firmly believe that.
Right. I definitely can't wait to hear it. I've been talking with those guys for a little bit.
I did. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I said Assassins of Youth, Annihilate the Hero.
I didn't catch that.
Oh yeah. Trying to mention all the old school bands.
Right. Get everybody's feathers ruffled. Get them woke up. See if they come out and play.
Boy, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? I mean, think about it. It really would. I mean, I loved it when you guys came back. I mean, I pitched that for quite a few years to get you guys, and I knew that things were just not aligning up for you guys, so I didn't get hasty with it. I just wanted to see if we could actually hit that milestone for you guys, because we were able to bring bands back like Lunatic and give them a platform to play at Metal in the Mountains, Annihilate the Hero. I would have loved to have caught Zeus back in the day. Catching you guys in your early days, I'd caught one show before Chester, and like one or two shows after. My favorite show of you guys with Go-Gotta was probably playing out at Pizza Hut in Mount Vernon.
I remember that.
That was my favorite one. Yes. It was a fun show, though. You guys didn't let it bug you. You just kept going. You guys got through it, and it was fun. Everybody had a blast.
Well, when the power came back on, it was like, when you're at a show like that and the power goes out, you're okay, when this power gets back on, it's anything goes. I'm just gonna go buck wild because these people are already frustrated or whatever. So I remember that show, and I remember coming out the second half of it and just going crazy because we were like, this is
the one in the parking lot.
Yeah, it was in the parking lot of Pizza Hut in Mount Vernon.
Yes.
And I can't remember
the old Pizza Hut.
Who opened? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
There was another band there.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. Might have been Sadistic Click. There's another.
It might have been.
There's another name to throw out from the past.
Right.
14 and 15.
Yeah, they were like 15 years old back then.
Damn. What year did you get in? I don't think I asked you that.
I started Go-Gotta. I came into Go-Gotta in 2001, I think.
Okay.
Because they had a singer before me.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. His name was Brian. And I think they did like one show with him, and they're like, this is not going to work. And so
those shows suck. I've had one.
Well, that's where the name came from. That's where the name Go-Gotta came from.
Gotta go. Okay.
They had another singer, and he would always leave practice early, and he would say, I gotta go do this, I gotta go do that. And so they flipped it around to Go-Gotta, and then I came in and wrote all new lyrics and like a whole new thing. Right. And it just, like I said earlier, it just clicked. And so, but yeah, they had another singer before me, and it was just it was just funny to replace a Brian with a Brian. But it worked. Right.
It's crazy. See, I didn't know anything about that. I remember hearing the story about the you gotta go thing. I do remember hearing that.
Yeah, we had a lot of funny things. People would come up to me after a show and be like, oh, your guys' name is from the Bible. And I'm like, what? And I guess like Golgotha?
Golgotha.
Golgotha, yeah. They would get it confused with Golgotha from the Bible. And I'm like, no,
Oh shit.
that is definitely not what it is. But we had a lot of people.
Or the tattoo shop in Carbondale. It was called Golgotha.
Yeah, Golgotha Tattoo in Carbondale.
Oh
And
shit.
we got confused with that a lot too. But that was another funny thing. People would come up to me after shows and say, "Man, I love that song where you say this," and I'm like, "Those are not the lyrics."
Yeah.
Oh, that's entertaining.
Yeah.
Rated.
Yeah, there's a really great story. Actually, I cannot tell on Facebook, but about someone misunderstanding what I was saying in the song. Yeah, and it's like the Aussie thing, you know.
Ah, gotcha.
They thought I was saying something and I was not saying that. So that was kind of funny.
I was confused the whole time. I was in Golgotha.
It's like Lutz said that he had watched you guys open for Mastodon at the Creepy Crawl.
Really?
Yeah, Greg Lutz.
Oh wow, nice.
I have video of that.
That was awesome. That was really awesome. I loved playing there because it was a real fucking punk rock bar. Like when you walk in there, you're like, I belong to something now. You know, like
really.
I've played on a stage where fucking Henry Rollins has played. You know,
Nice.
I played on a stage where the Dead Kennedys played. You know, like it was a real punk rock bar. Like the Lost Cross, that's what I was saying. Like you felt like you're a part of a club that nobody else belongs to. You know what I mean? And so I wear that badge on my sleeve, you know?
Right.
I'm a lot of, I've worn a lot of hats. You know, punk rock singer or whatever you want to call it was just one of them. Right. And so I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the way we did it, honestly.
And you should be, because it literally set the tone for people like myself that came in the next generation of it.
Yes.
Because I consider myself like part 3. Because part 1, we really don't know what part 1 is. We know what part 2 was. Part 2 is like from the mid 70s to the the late 90s for most of us that in our generation, because you and I are just a year or so apart from each other. So, and for me, I came in the early 2000s, like 2002, 2003. I started playing music, playing bass, and then got with Cause of Ruin. First, it was Driftwood String Band with Justin Torres and Jake Bowen and a few other gentlemen. Yeah, with Tony, my brother.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they brought me in late. Like
I remember that.
Right.
Wow.
Like we used to play the VFW when I was working the VFW in Mount Vernon before it closed. So I started with that and was completely a limp noodle. No shit. I did not know what I was doing. I didn't know how to fucking tune a bass. Like I sat in the dark so I could sit down and like stare at my bass and did not make eye contact with anybody. Like I had a small little pocket that I could stay in, and I was safe there, and then met Jeremy and Derek and all that started after that. But I didn't realize that the scene had gone back that far until getting into Spirit of Chaos. Because then I started meeting the guys from, Annihilate the Hero. Got closer with you guys, because at that time we had known of each other, but we hadn't really actually, gotten to communicate properly. So coming into it later and finding out that there was so much more involved with it, I really look forward to this documentary. Me and you have actually spoke on this a couple of times. Briefly, but I definitely would be interested in anything that you need from me on that one. So if you do, I will definitely be happy to be involved in that.
Oh yeah, you'll definitely be involved.
It definitely needs to happen.
I think so. I think it'd be just really cool for Southern Illinois to see that, because a lot of people that live in Southern Illinois, they have no idea that any of this goes on. You know what I mean? They have no idea that there's a music scene or anything like that. They think you have to go to Indianapolis or St. Louis to catch real music. And you don't. There are amazingly talented musicians right here under your nose. that you can go and watch at a local show. They're just as good as what you could pay $30 for, you know, and maybe with a little bit more passion and heart than somebody who's already signed $1 million record contract. So
Right.
Me too. Anything you guys need for the essentially documentary.
oh yeah, yeah. I think that would be an awesome thing. And I think, you know, it's just another way to document Southern Illinois history, really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I would like, for me, the aspect that I want to see is all the different clubs, the hole in the wall bars,
oh, the venues?
the hotels
Yeah.
that people use. Because I remember
That
hotels
would be
having
awesome.
lounges. I would love to see, for one, I would love to see that come back. For two, I would love to see
The
the
G
history of
Spot.
it.
We used to play at an old strip club called the G Spot.
No shit.
Yes, it was. The stripper pole was still on the stage. I had a lot of fun with that.
Oh, I can only imagine.
And places like where you saw SIMC too, that was just like an entertainment venue that
See,
we could
I thought
rent
it was
out
like
for cheap. You know what I mean? That's the only reason that went on there, is because it was probably cheap.
That was my first show.
Right.
Yeah.
Or second show.
That's
So yeah, it would be
craziness.
funny to just discover like where we played all those shows, all those old places.
Chester said a stripper
Right.
ran the place.
The G Spot?
Yeah.
That explains so many things.
Oh, Lord.
Man, this has been great. My phone is getting ready to die.
Right on, right on. I got you.
And
Thank
so
you very
am I. I'm
much.
usually in bed by now.
Right. I'm getting ready to head up my damn self. So, but I thank you very much for being on here. We got to do this again sometime, and you got a little more time. And I wish you luck with everything you're doing. You seem like you got, as you said, a lot of hats on right now. So your plate's pretty full
Yes.
right now. So
It is.
I'm glad to see you doing what you love.
I wouldn't
though,
have it
'cause
any other way, though.
Oh, I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
And thank
But
you
get
for
at me
doing
later.
this, brother. Thank you for keeping things alive and like giving these bands that would never ever have a voice, giving them a platform to come on and show people their personalities and talk about their music. I watched the
Thank you very
Broken
much.
Circle interview before I did this, actually, and it was good. It was great to hear them talk about just how they create things.
Right. That's what it's all about. We want to make sure that everybody's having fun. That's where. Oh, and it looks like we lost him. Oh, that's all right. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for being on the show, Mr. Alvis. As I said, like, you know, it's awesome to see people. I love doing these interviews. I love getting people to react to things, and getting bands that come back is always awesome to see them coming back. Lunatic is going to be awesome to see coming back. But like I said, metal horns up. Alvis, thank you for doing the interview with me. I love you guys. I'm getting off of here. Have a good night.